Hi children, happy to meet you again. I am Jnanavel, biology teacher in our school. Today we are going to teach an interesting topic, a cell and its parts. Before going to this, what is the raw material to construct any building? Very good. Bricks is very important. Without brick we can't build any building. Like all the living beings, their bodies are made up of small, a tiny, a living structure or a compartment are called cells. Now, cell is defined as a basic structural and functional unit of all the living being, Now, the cell, if we say the word is a cell, that cell is the nothing fundamental unit of living organisms. Based upon the number of cells, the organisms are categorized into two main divisions, namely one, unicellular organisms. Living organisms are made up of a single cell, are called unicellular organisms. Like now, in case of unicellular animals, amoeba, paramecium, euglena, these organisms are made up of only one cells. These structures are very minute. We want to observe with the help of an instrument. We call it as microscope. That organisms are called microscopic organisms. While in case, on the other hand, their bodies are made up of many billions of cells. In case of human being, all the large trees and animals, various animals. In this case, a group of cells are formed tissues. These tissues are joined together to form the organ. Now, a collection of cells are formed the tissues. Tissues form the organ form the organ system, and organ systems form an organisms. Now, this is a representation. Now, that is a schematic representation of complicated cell structures. Now, if you say the word is a cell, that cell is nothing but which consists of a various life functional structures are present within the structures, within the cell. Cell, its a main function, it has several parts. Also, the plant cells and animal cells are not exactly alike. Now, plant cell, whether it is the plant cell or animal cell, their structures, it has three cell structures, namely first one, plasma membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. If any structure which bears these three structures or these three parts, that is we call it as cell. Now, we take the cell. Cell entirely consists of living matter. That living matters are called protoplasm. Now, The protoplasm is nothing. The nucleus, now that is a outer covering is called cell membrane. Within this cytoplasm and nucleus, this entire collectively form a living material is known as protoplasm. The proto means is a first, proto means is a first, plasm means is a form. Proto means is a first and plasm means is a form. Now that is a protoplasm. Now the every cells all consists of a protoplasm. Now we enter into the outermost covering of the any cell, whether it is the plant cell or a animal cell. Outermost covering of animal cell is plasma membrane. Now the plasma membrane is nothing, the outer thin skin covering the cells, plasma membrane. This protect the what means all the internal structures. This plasma membrane, which consists of very minute, smaller, a tiny, a holes is there, minute holes is there. Through these holes, we have to exchange of ions and exchange of materials or it takes place. So now this plasma membrane is also known as plasma lemma. Otherwise, we call the word is cell membrane, CM. Now the plasma membrane is act as semi-permeable membrane or partially permeable membrane, partially to allow the what means certain substance enters and leave the what means a cell. Now the function of the cell membrane which gives the shape to the cell, which provide the what means a mechanical supporting and to permit the certain structures enters and leave the what means a through the plasma membrane. It has a minute, a tiny porous. Next, the parts of a cell. The animal cell or plant cell, it has a three important structures, namely cell membrane, cytoplasm and the nucleus. The cytoplasm surround the what means a cell membrane. Now we take the what means a, this is any cell. Cell membrane, this is cytoplasm. Enclose the what means nucleus. Enclose the nucleus. These structures are called the what is a parts of a cell. Is a basic a part. This entirely covered with what means life-giving material. We known as protoplasm. Proto means first, plasm is form. Functions: cell membrane to protect and provide the shape to the cell. It allow the material enter and leave the cell through a tiny openings. It allows only certain molecules to enter and leave the cell. That's why cell membrane is also known as semi-permeable membrane. Cell wall. In addition to the what we say, now we have to go for the plant cell, any plant cells. Outer covering, cell wall. Inner layer, an extra covering above the cell membrane, are called cell wall. The cell wall is made up of a tough substances, a tough non-living material that is known as cellulose. That material is called a cellulose. Now, cell wall, what is the function of the cell wall? The cell wall only present in the plant cell. This cell wall is a lack in the animal cell. What are the functions of the cell wall? This is also is a maximum rigidity, that is provide the maximum rigidity to the cell and provides the protection to entirely to protect the what means a cell and allow the substances in solution to enter and live without any hindrance, because cell wall is a permeable nature. cell wall is permeable nature. Permeable means to allow all the substances inside without any hindrance, to allow the what means all the substances. Mr. Ram, look at the board. Next is cytoplasm. What is mean by cytoplasm? Now we see the what means cytoplasm means a outer covering membrane. Outer cell membrane, the space between the nucleus and the cell membrane, entire space is known as cytoplasm. This is a cytoplasm. This cytoplasm contains various minute structures are known as cell organelles. Mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, Golgi apparatus, these are present. Now, the cytoplasm is a seat of various biochemical reactions or occurs within the cytoplasm of the cell. The cytoplasm. Now, cytoplasm contains various cell structures to perform various life functions. Now, the cytoplasm is a jelly-like substances present between the nucleus and the cell membrane inside of the cell. The space, all the life functions are takes place in the cytoplasm. It contains various minute cell organelles, minute cell organelle. Nucleus. The nucleus is nothing, every cell it has a one spherical structure present inside of the cell. Now this is a cell, any cell, it has a what means is a spherical structure present inside of the what means is a cell are called nucleus. The nucleus is a boss of the cell, just like as our school MD sir. It controls, nucleus is also to controls the entire life actions within the cell. What are the things that takes place within the cells? They are a control. That every cell it has a nucleus. In some cell it has only one nucleus. That cell is called uninucleated cell. Uninucleated cell. While in case more nucleus are present within the single cell, that is we call it, the word is polynucleated cell. Polynucleated cell. Many cell. Example, our skeletal muscle cells. Many nucleus are present. Right. Now, every nucleus it consists of certain parts, namely nuclear membrane, nuclear envelope. This nuclear envelope to separate the nucleus from the cytoplasm. It has very minute, like the cell membrane, it has very minute, smaller, a porous is there. Through this porous to allow the certain material inside the nucleus and outside the material, outside of the nucleus. Porous in nature. Within the nuclear membrane, a jelly-like substances are filled within the nucleus are called nucleoplasm. The nucleoplasm also called karyolymph, nuclear cell. The nucleoplasm contains one spherical like body. This is we call the word is nucleolus. The next is many coiled like structure. This is a coiled like structures. These coiled like structures are called chromatin reticulum. This chromatin reticulum, during the cell division, the chromatin reticulums are, it becomes long and short, a structure, thread like structure. We call the word is chromosome. These chromosomes which carry minute bead like structure known as genes. These genes are very important role to transmit the hereditary character from one generation to another generation, that is from parents to offspring. Do you understand, Mr. Dinesh Kumar? Look at the board very carefully. This is very important thing. Now, right, shut up, tell me, what is the boss of the cell? Nucleus. Very good, well done, sit down. It is a spherical like body consisting of following parts. What are the parts of the nucleus? Nuclear membrane, nuclear shaft, nucleolus and chromatin reticulum. Chromatin reticulum. Good. Nucleus. What are the functions of the nucleus? The nucleus is a play an important role. The transmission of the hereditary characters from one generation to another generations. The next is control. All the life functions taking place inside of the cell, that is controlled by nucleus. Next, the cell around, now we have to take the what means is anything that is a cell part, nucleus, various structures are there. The very minute structures are present inside of the cell or a cytoplasm of the cell. These structures are called cell organelles. The cell organelles includes mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, shortly we called ER, endoplasmic reticulum, shortly we called endoplasmic reticulum, shortly called ER, Golgi complex, otherwise we call the word is Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, centrosome, plastid, ribosomes and vacuoles. These are a cell organelles which present both the plant cell and animal cell. In some cases there will be some exception is there. Plastids. The plastids are very important. A structure, a double walled, this is nothing but is a double walled membrane, double walled, a dense structures which are present in the plant cell alone, not present in the animal cell. Now, in this case, based upon the color, we have to categorize it into three main types of the plastids. Chloroplast, this is a common, inconspicuous of the three types. A green structure which contains chlorophyll pigment which helps in photosynthesis, that is a manufacture of the food material, that is a kitchen house of the plant, the made chloroplast. Next is chromoplast. What is mean by chromoplast? Chromoplast are nothing but these are also is a plastid. They are other than the green in color. It may be vary from red color, yellow color, orange color like this. These are mainly which helps to giving the color to the what mean some of the plant parts, namely flowers and fruits. This is a giving the or impact the what means a color to flowers and fruits and flowers. The next is leuco. The name itself it has the meaning. Leuco means is a colorless plastid. These are called the word is colorless plastid. There is no any color at all. Now, in this case, these plastids are mainly which helps in a storage of the starch material, protein and oil within the cell. The remaining rest of the various cell organelles, their structure and functions we will be deal in next session. Now, I hope you have to understand what is the cell, what is the parts of the cell, how they are important to us, which part of the cell is very important to us, everything we have to learn very elaborately. Now, end of this video session, I have attached the study material, question bank, then self evaluation question includes various competitive examination oriented questions attached, PPT and YouTube link. You will be say utilize very proper manner, you have to do the work. Thank you, children.
ஆசிரியராகிய நான் பாடத்தை வழங்குவதற்கு உணர்வுடன் செய்வன தேர்வு செய்து சிறந்த ஆசிரியராக திகழ்வேன். அகம் மற்றும் புறத்தூய்மை கடைபிடித்து உடல் மண்டலம் பேணி